regards to my weight loss. So number one is that I have hit the 150s for the first time in a very long time. I want to say probably 4 or 5 years since I've seen that number. I hit it this past week, and I've actually been like slowly creeping down the 150s, and I wanted to say that that's probably due to being able to consistently get my medication again, thanks to a new telehealth company that I'm going to be talking about in this video.
Are you getting the same video recommendations when you search for a weight loss solution on YouTube or Instagram? And do you think that the new diabetes drug is the magic drug where you will be able to do a weight loss without any diet or without any exercise? And this is exactly what we are going to discuss in today's video. The drugs like Ozempic or the other associated magical drugs, are they really a magical drugs where you can do a weight loss without doing any exercise or without doing any diet? And at the end of the video, I will give my recommendations on achieving a weight loss and what do I think about these drugs. Hello everyone, my name is Ramakrishna and welcome to Fitness to Fulfillment channel, where I talk about health, nutrition and overall well-being of life. In today's video, we are going to understand drugs like Ozempic or other associated diabetes drug. Are they really the magic drugs to have an easy weight loss in your life? Now, before we move ahead, I have one humble request for all of you. If you have been watching my video for a very long time, and if you have not subscribed yet to my channel, then please do subscribe, because it motivates me to make such more informative content and videos on this channel. Now, without any delay, let's get started. Now, before going ahead and understanding how these drugs work, let's try to understand how big of the overweight and obesity problem in the world. As per WHO, in 2022, there were 1 in 8 people, those were obese. And that number has actually increased by more than 2x since 1990. If I talk about the percentage terms, then 43% of the people in the world, which is equivalent to 2.5 billion people in the world, are overweight, while 16%, which is 1 of 8 people, are obese. Now, I have been talking a lot about overweight and obesity, but let's try to understand the definition of being overweight and obese. First of all, to understand this, we need to understand a very important ratio, which I have already talked about in my previous videos, which is BMI or body mass index. This index is calculated based on your weight and height. To calculate this BMI, I will give a link in the description. You can go to that link and check your BMI. Now, once you have checked your BMI, if your BMI is more than or equal to 25, then you fall under a overweight category. Now, if your BMI is actually more than or equal to 30, then you fall under obesity category. Now, there are different levels of obesity and overweight, which I would not go in detail in this video. Now, let's go into a region-specific information. As per NIH, 40% of adults in India are overweight, while the situation in United States or USA is even worse. 73% of people in USA are either overweight or obese. While if you talk about Sweden, which is another category of my audience, then 39% of the adults are overweight. And actually, this situation is not improving in the future. So as per the Reuters article, 50% of the adults by 2050 will be overweight or obese, which means the number is going to increase from 43% to 50%. Now, my interest about this drug increased when I watched the video of a great entrepreneur where Naval Ravikant was on the Chris Williamson's podcast, and he talked about taking these drugs. He actually promoted taking these drugs. Now, let's take a look at what he has to say about these drugs.
is going to be kind of unexpected is the GLP-1s, which I know you and I have privately discussed before. I think these are the most breakthrough drugs since antibiotics. They're probably more important than statins. They're sort of miracle drugs. They seem to, there are downsides, but the downsides and side effects are so minor compared to the upsides beyond just weight loss. They also seem to be addiction breakers. They seem to lower many kinds of cancer. They almost metabolically reverse aging up to a certain point. And I think they're going to bend the curve on healthcare costs. And the big question people are going to be asking over the next 5 years is, why are Americans paying thousands of dollars a month for this when people overseas are getting them for free, or I can order them from China for free or whatever. And maybe it, like if I were Bernie Sanders, the platform I would be running on is I would say, okay, we're going to pay
free Ozempic,
hundreds of billions of dollars to Novo and Eli Lilly, and we're just going to make these free. Or there's hundreds of analogs of these things that work. These are not going to be, limited to just the few that are being used today. Just take one of them or two of them and make them free.
Okay, so now we have understood what is the overweight and obesity problem. We have also understood what the great entrepreneur has to say on that. But what are GLP-1 drugs or medications like Ozempic or Mounjaro? Before understanding what these drugs are, let's try to understand what is GLP-1. GLP-1, also known as glucagon-like peptide 1, is a hormone which is released by our brain. This hormone is focused on appetite control and blood sugar regulation. This hormone works on 4 key areas. Number 1 is appetite regulation, where GLP-1 receptor reduces the hunger and it also gives that feeling of fullness to our gut. Number 2 is that it delays the digestion. What happens here is that by delaying the digestion, it reduces the blood sugar spike, also reduces the cravings. Number 3 is that it gives signals to the brain of fullness, because of which your brain signals to your overall body that you do not need more food. And number 4 is that it metabolically improves the insulin function, and at the same time it gives signals to your body to spend more energy on a specific task than it is required. Now what these drugs like Ozempic or Mounjaro or any of the associated drug do is that they mimic the behavior of GLP-1, which I explained just now. Now it's not like this drug is totally ineffective. So as per the clinical trials of GLP-1 which has been done, people who have taken GLP-1 medications for 3 months regularly has reduced 5 to 10% of their body weight. While if they have taken this drug for 6 months, then they are definitely reduced about 10% of their body weight. Which means that if you take an example of me who is 60 kilograms, and if I do take the medication, GLP-1 medication for 6 months, then I will lose 6 kilograms of my body weight at the end of 6 months without doing any gym, without following any nutrition plan, or without following any diet plan. This sounds amazing, isn't it? Hold your horses for a while. Let me tell you some short-term and long-term side effects of these drugs. By taking these drugs for a very long time, you have seen some short-term side effects, which includes constipation, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting. While there are no long-term side effects of these drugs yet observed, but as per the animal studies which has been done, these drugs does affect basic or important body organs like pancreas and kidneys. Now originally these drugs were targeted for diabetes patients or people who are overly obese. Now my recommendation on taking GLP-1 medications for viewers of my channel who wants to achieve a healthy lifestyle physically and mentally is definitely no. And I have 3 key reasons behind that. Number 1 is the temporary effect of this drug. So you need to understand that the time for which you're taking GLP-1 is the time you're going to see or observe the results. The moment you stop taking GLP-1 and you're not doing any exercise, you're not doing any nutrition or diet, the effects are reversible, which means that the weight that you lost during that period of time would be gained back. Number 2 is the original target of these drugs, where patients who are suffering with diabetes or people who are overly obese. I consider people who are living a busy professional life and wants to be healthy would not like to fall into these categories. So that's why I don't think this drug is for any of those who are watching these videos. Number 3 is about short-term and long-term side effects. The side effects that this drug offers is something which makes it definitely not even worth of trying. And if we even take a look at the cost of this drug, if you would like to achieve 10% of weight loss over a 6 months period of time, like I explained before, then you would have to spend $7,000 to $17,000, which I think is a huge amount of money. So in summary, I just want to say that I would not recommend you guys taking any of these drugs. Instead, this is what I would recommend, is if you want to achieve a healthy weight loss, then do just these 3 things. Number 1 is do any form of physical workout or physical exercise. Number 2 is take good diet or nutrition, eat healthy whole food meals. And number 3 is take a good 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night. And if you would like to know any more about these 3 points that I've just talked about, I have a lot of my previous videos where I have been talking specifically about these 3 points. Now there is one more important and necessary thing and a secret for all of this, which I would like to tell you. But for that, you need to come a little bit closer. You also need to keep watching my videos.